Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Taos of Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. This one is just going to be a lot of fun. It's summertime. I'm going to let my hair out before it's all over with. It is our 27th anniversary. I've got to get the new 27th anniversary logo up. We just launched it this week. I'm eating my 27 favorite things to eat, including number 27, our Philly Pretzel Factory pretzel. But continue to follow the countdown at Baltimore Positive. I'll also be giving out lottery scratch-offs in the Maryland Lottery, including the whammy and press your luck and the lucky sevens doublers as we get out to Costas and Coco's and Fadley's and all over the place. We're going to be at the Beaumont this week in Catonsville eating a delicious fried lobster. I once shared a Memorial Stadium ballpark hot dog proper with this man, with Nolan Ryan on the hill back in my rock star days. I can go back to the date. It's probably 90 or 91. Chips Enough of Enuff Z'Nuff was out, I think, on the second album. You're one of three bands to ever thank me on a liner album, and you thanked me on two of them. So thank you to you and Child's Play and some others that thanked me over the course of time. Chips Enough is the man, the myth, the legend, the bass player. Damn if I'm not sitting at home in bed one night just scrolling on my phone, and I have friends up at Falston Station, and this band was powerhouse. Somebody's like, this band's great. This guy's better than Axl. And I'm watching the video, and the bass player looks like Chips Enough. And I'm like, you can't look like Chips Enough. It's like there's only one Chips Enough. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, he moves like Chips Enough. And then I text Chip and I'm like, the hell are you doing 10 miles from my house and you're in on a tour bus and playing Welcome to the Jungle? So Chips Enough joins me now from St. Augustine, Florida, where he's no doubt hitting a golf club or the 18th hole or the 19th hole. Chip, I love you. How have you been? What's going on?
Nestor, it's good to hear your beautiful voice and see your nice, handsome mug. And you're quite generous with compliments, which is a very nice trait to carry. Thank you very much.
Well, you've been in a lot of bands. You've been a part of bands, and you've been in and out of Adler and GNR. And you've had Enuff Z'Nuff for 40 years. Last time I saw you physically, where I hugged you and saw your band, you were on the line at M3. You played Fly High Michelle. I think Child's Play played that. I mean, I went down on a May Day and rocked it out with you, but I didn't know about your GNR gig. I am ignorant, dude. I totally would have been at Falston supporting you. I would have had you on before the gig and all that. So we're just trying to level set here because I need to know what's going on with my rock star buddies, especially when you're rolling through Baltimore, man.
Oh, bro, so many great memories with you. I'm doing very well with Enuff Z'Nuff. We just put a brand new record out. It's called Extra Cherries. It's on Cleopatra Records. And I have Neil Sean and Robert Fleischman from Journey singing and playing with me on the album, along with Cheap Trick. I have the Trickster Boys on there on a track. Steve Brown, who also plays guitar with Def Leppard, and of course the Trickster Boys. He co-wrote a song on the record with me. It's fantastic. And most notably, the great Steve Stevens from Billy Idol's band playing on Magnificent, one of the songs on the Extra Cherries record. It just came out. Oh, I got Matthew and Gunnar Nelson, as a matter of fact, well, you know very well. They're on the record. So
I remember the Milk and Cookies tour. You never forget.
It's chock. Yeah, it's this record's just packed full of great collaborations. It's our 21st record. I haven't seen you in years, okay? Rumor has it that you were living in Jerusalem and you left your sandals out
No.
there.
Rumor has it, and it's true, that I grew my hair back like long during COVID, and I didn't let it
Yeah.
out because I was seeing the Black Crows last night in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. My hair's a little long, but I'm going to let my rock and roll hair flow for you. Chips Enough this year. So your album is out. Are you touring with Enough? And how did the GNR thing happen? So just fill me in on that as I let my hair out.
Okay, so yes, I am touring with Enuff Z'Nuff. I just finished a tour a couple weeks ago. Now I'm on another tour with Pretty Tied Up, which is the Guns N' Roses experience, along with Alex Kane from the Ramones and Life, Sex, and Death. fabulous band. Like Adler's Cousins playing drums with us. Hey, the dude looks pretty good, bro. You're not going to be Telly Savalas anytime soon. That's great.
This is
And
all, and this is, I don't color. I mean, I got some gray in here, but like, I don't play any hokey pokey. This is like my real hair. Because Marvin Lewis accuses me of coloring my hair, and I don't color my hair. Sorry.
no, it looks really good. Obviously, you've been
I
eating a
know
lot
you
of
don't color
spinach lately,
yours
like
either, but
Popeye.
you know.
Well, we both like eating good food. That's going to help us a little bit, you know.
Well, you're living right. I mean, obviously, you're in two bands, you're out. I mean, the GNR thing, give me a little genesis of that because we all love the music. Contemporaries for you, without question. I mean, they were part of how Enuff broke and how they broke and Poison and Bon Jovi and all that stuff that I documented back in the 80s. But it's iconic, incredible music. And it literally is how you came to me, Chip. Like, friend of mine that goes and sees bands, and which is, I mean, I'm out on Facebook. I mean, we're all connected in that way. People like rock and roll. And it showed up on a reel, and someone was bragging on it in real time. It was like a couple, 3 weeks ago. And it was on a Sunday night. And like, so it was too late for me to get to the show, but not too late to give you basically shit. I text you. I'm like, dude, what's up? And then you text me back, and and here we are. So I want to come see that gig. I want to see Enuff again. I want to see you again. And obviously, there's enough rock and roll to go around. Rock and roll's still very alive, man.
I think it's flourishing right now. I think all the old bands are coming out there and they're touring around the country. As you said, Black Crowes were playing last night. I'm sure that was a fabulous show. How ironic that you've seen the Black Crowes, and now, and a couple of weeks from now, Chris Robinson is going to be fronting the Joe Perry project with the rhythm section from Stone Temple Pilots and his partner, Brad Woodford, playing guitar with them. That's going to be a fantastic celebration. I think they have a couple of shows they're actually opening for the Who on a few
I'm
occasions. So,
going to see them open for the Who at the
yeah,
Hollywood Bowl. Chip, I mean, you and I have been at this a long time, and we don't fake hammerjacks or backstage or this or that or your tours and how
yep.
long I've known you, baseball games. Just, I
Oh,
mean,
yep.
like, I've known you a long, long time, but like this. The part of like rock and roll that becomes eternal is when I'm sitting in the second row of Black Crow show and it's on fire. Or I went to see
Yeah.
Cheap Trick 2 weeks ago, dude. I went to see Cheap Trick 2 weeks ago with Rod Stewart. Rod was great. Let's start. I mean, Rod was great. Cheap Trick was phenomenal. They opened California Man. They played several of my personal favorites that night.
Yep.
So for me to see these bands when I can't see certain things anymore, Tom Petty, right? I mean, I saw the Stones last year, and we're losing my dear friend Mike Peters from the Alarm. We lost him this year, so we're losing bands. Rush isn't touring with after the death of Neil or whatever. So to be able to celebrate with a band on a night in a place, and I've been to all of the stadiums. I've been to all the Super Bowls, all the worlds, all that stuff. I'm now trying to find iconic venues. And maybe this is where your rock and roll background, you can help me a little bit. I've never been to the Whiskey. I've never been to the Troubadour. I've never been to the Hollywood Bowl. I've never been to the Celebrity Theater in the Round in Phoenix. And my ultimate is Royal Albert Hall. I haven't been there. So, like, do you have some bucket list places that I need to know about, or did I miss any? Because, like, they're playing the Hollywood Bowl. The Who and Joe Perry. I've never been to the Hollywood Bowl. It's
Yeah.
way up on my bucket list. Like, it's near
Right.
the top. I want to go.
Well, bucket list gigs, I'm sure there's quite a few of them for me. I like to play the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, where I've seen everybody from Rush to the greats. Remember Stars? They were great. I've seen them with the Runaways and Piper, Billy Squire's old band. AC/DC, I seen there. That is an iconic venue. It used to be a roller skating rink in Chicago, Illinois. Aragon Ballroom. And everybody can look it up right now. Police, I seen there. So many wonderful bands that have frequented that venue. Last time I was there, actually, I seen the Smashing Pumpkins, and Dave Grohl was looking for a seat. Didn't realize how little of a guy he was. I don't know how he gets on the rides over at Disney World. And for some reason, he come up to me and I go, "Hey, how you doing, Dave?" And I'm not sure he knew who Enuff Z'Nuff was. But I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm just trying to find a seat. I can't find anywhere to sit. We're in the VIP section." I go, "Come on, sit in my seat, bro." And I gave him my seat to watch the Smashing Pumpkins in action. seen the last Nirvana show there too. That would be a bucket list place to play. In England, I just got up a tour with Skid Row a couple of years ago. We were doing all the O2s. It's fantastic, great tour for us, where you play a sold-out show every day. It would be nice probably to go over and play Wembley Stadium. I wouldn't doubt that, but I did get a chance 10 years ago to play Donington Download with AC/DC and Aerosmith, Stone Temple Pilots. Lemmy was there, of course. Megadeth, Lamb of God, all the heavy bands. That was a good gig for me. We played 2 nights in a row there, which most bands don't. So I think when it comes to playing the big crowds over in England, I'm pretty good for that. But United States, there's always new venues that are opening up every single day. I like playing for a crowd. I like celebrating hard rock and heavy metal, and it's prevalent right now. People are digging what's going on, especially in light of losing all our great musicians. We just lost Terry Reid, by the way. Terry Reid was going to be the first singer in Led Zeppelin. He actually turned Jimmy Page on to John Bonham and Robert Plant. So that was a significant loss right there. Cheap Trick covered a couple of the songs. There's the guy that just passed away from Junkyard, David Roach, another wonderful friend and great artist. So as we get older, we lose some of these guys. What we don't lose right now, Nestor, is the music. That stays out there. It's all through the internet. You can find it every single, Spotify's and Deezer's and Apple Play. You can Google any of your favorite bands. They'll be out forever with the advent of the internet. But you can go in record stores and buy these albums as well. And that's something to celebrate at the end of the day.
I did an experiential thing last year with that Talking Heads when they redid Stop Making Sense in the theaters. And it was the thing called D-Box, D-B-O-X. You can look it up. It's a chair that has hundreds of thousands of haptic movements in it that's sort of built for like a Top Gun, or if you were to have seen Star Wars, where you would be in the fighter pilot and they would be moving around like a Disney ride, right? Or like something, literally something at Epcot, right? But the movie was made for it and the sounds were made for it. And you know how weird it's kind of shot as an art film? I keep thinking like, when they can bring The Song Remains the Same into a chair that moves with it, or like the vision. Now, have you been to Red Rocks? Yes.
Yeah, I played Red Rocks I used to be in a band called Missing Persons, and I played Red Rocks. We opened for Devo and the Knack. It was a great time. What a wonderful venue. I remember that night, Dale didn't want to get hotel rooms for the band, Dale Bazio. She goes, well, you can just stay in the bus and sleep here tonight and save money in hotels. I said, that could be a nice little thing to do. Let me talk to the promoter at Red Rocks. And he was more charming than ever. He said, no problem. You guys stay right on the premises, make sure everything's good. You guys can be like security. And I sat on the stage with my buddy, Big Ron Rubin, who used to work with Metallica. And we sat and we smoked pot until 4 o'clock in the morning on that big stage after I played a show. Wonderful moments over at Red Rocks. Probably one of the greatest venues I've ever played.
Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah, fantastic place. Haven't played there yet, unfortunately, but I went and seen McCartney there, and Paul was great. My old manager, you remember Bob Brigham, he's got a company called Nighthawk, and they do all the screens behind the stage, all the LED lights. So they work with Paul, they work with the Rolling Stones, and they invited me out to the show, and I got a chance to watch Paul from the 10th row. Right where the council was, right in front of the house. And incredible. What a discography. Played 35, 40 songs in a set and played some solo stuff as well as the stuff he did with the Beatles. Even did a little celebration. I think they did Cold Turkey that night, which is an old John Lennon song. So I love the Hollywood Bowl, but we haven't played there yet. Maybe one day get a chance to open for somebody there. It'd be fantastic. But some great concerts there.
Chip Z'Nuff is our guest here because he wants to be. We're old buddies. When I think of you and I think of Donnie back in the day writing songs, and I think of the hooks and the melodies in the first early albums, you guys, much like Cheap Trick, were Beatles guys. Literally Beatles people first, not Stones, not Elvis, not The Who. You were Beatles people. So to hear you talk about McCartney, I would think that all of it sort of roots back to that, right? Like my first 3 45s I got, one of them was The Beatles Got to Get You Into My Life. Helter Skelter on the flip on that, by the way.
Of course. Hey, first time listening to the Beatles, I remember sneaking in my parents' bedroom, smoking a joint and listening to the White Album. Just incredible. And that's when the Beatles were experimenting, getting jacked up. Even Paul tells about it, where they hung out with the Dalai Lama and they got jacked up and they were doing LSD and they were smoking pot and they were coming up with great songs. And that's one of the reasons why artists do drugs, is because it gives you wonderful ideas. It's a plethora of good little things. You're looking through that kaleidoscope and see all different colors and shapes. And you look at an ashtray with a joint in it, or you a glass with lipstick on it, and you're inspired beyond belief. And those early Beatle records were really exciting. And as a matter of fact, if I could, a shameless little plug here, Enuff Z'Nuff in 2018 put a record out called Hard Rock Night, a play on Hard Day's Night. And it's all Beatles songs from 1967 through 1970. We did the record over in Chicago at this place called Stonecutter Studio with this guy named Chris Steinmetz, who was responsible for that. One of the Kiss records that they did years and years ago. I wanted to say, I think it's called Revenge. And it was a fabulous album, but we did everything live in the studio. And it's Beatles on 2.0. It's the Beatles through Marshall amplifiers and Mesa Boogie amps and big drums. And that is nothing but a fantastic celebration of great rock stuff that we mix in our set with the stuff that you know from the early Enuff Z'Nuff material. So you got Enuff Z'Nuff songs with the hits like Fly Michelle and New Thing and Baby Loves You, mixed in with Magical Mystery Tour and Eleanor Rigby and Dear Prudence and a Jet, of course, from Paul McCartney and the Wings. It's a fabulous set. When you come see Enuff Z'Nuff, it's really every single song you'll recognize.
Well, yeah. I mean, you mix the Beatles into your set. I don't think you've been playing Beatles songs 20, 25 years as part of the Enuff Z'Nuff deal. Chip Z'Nuff is here, the leader and founding member. I like saying, if I was British, I'd say founding member of Enuff Z'Nuff, and also in several other outfits and bands, including, tell me about the GNR band and when that comes back through. Dude, that was incendiary. I mean, that was hot.
Yeah, well, I was living with Steven Adler for years over in Studio City. I joined the band like in 2005. We went out and toured for about 7 years, playing all around the country, South America, all through England. We get in a tour bus. We tour for about 30 days over in England. We'd come back and we'd be $75,000 in debt. Those buses are quite expensive, but we toured in style with Steven. He was charming beyond belief. He was straight and focused. He was doing great, playing his ass off. And we did a lot of stuff. Then he came in 2012. I took my time, and then obviously I had a lot to do with Enuff Z'Nuff. It was hard to double dip. Went back to Enuff Z'Nuff full time, and I bid Steven my farewell, but we're still great friends to this day. You know, those old days of traveling on the bus, I'd be in the back of the bus. There was only 2 people allowed in the back of that tour bus, with Steven and myself. And all he was doing was smoking pot 24/7. They're watching cartoons, American, Family Guy. What was the other one? American Dad, Family Guy, and South Park. He couldn't touch the TV set. He just loved those cartoons beyond belief. And he always make his famous Chef Boyardee. You have a can of Chef Boyardee, throw it in a pot, and then throw a big stick of Land O'Lakes butter in there and let it just sop in there for about 25 minutes.
What the hell is that?
A loaf of bread, and we just eat that. That was our dinner every single day on the road. He always loved spaghetti, chip, extra bolognese sauce. He always would tell me. But those moments playing, touring while with him turned out to be a godsend, because I'm sitting at home. I finished the Enuff Z'Nuff tour this year, and I get a call from Brandon from Pretty Tied Up, and he's got Alex Kane with him, who was the guitar player in the Ramones. He played Life, Sex, and Death, fabulous player. And they said, we're going out, we're doing Pretty Tied Up. It's nothing but a Guns N' Roses experience. It's all Appetite for Destruction. You in? They knew I knew the songs. I said, absolutely. So I'm about 30 shows into this tour right now. I'm in somewhere in Florida. It's a beautiful place. We played like 7 or 8 cities out here, and we're winding things down. We got a couple of days coming up in North Carolina and South Carolina. Then we go to Chicago and play a few shows, and then I jump back on a tour with Enuff Z'Nuff, and we're going out with Trickster. So Trickster, Enuff Z'Nuff, and Pretty Boy Flight, a real glam slam metal jam tour. None of us are really that glam anymore. We're more like rock bands or pop bands, but it's a nice celebration. It's a good consolidation of a bunch of groups that were successful in the 80s and 90s on MTV, and now here we are touring again in every single state in the United States of America. I'll probably do 100 shows this year, bro.
Gonna give it to them good? Is that what you're gonna do with the Trickster boys?
I think so. I'll tell you, they show up every single night. PJ and Steve Brown, and they bring the show. Great songs, wonderful harmonies. And, you come and see those bands play in concert. everybody's aged pretty well so far. I'm really surprised. The trim isn't as prevalent as it used to be on the road, man. Those Hammerjack days when we play and it was jam packed and people were the trim was walking around those little clubs scantily clad. Those days you don't see those very often, but we certainly make the most of it at all these shows. And more importantly, rock is still alive. People want to see a great rock show and they want to see live bands in concert because 10 years from now it might just be AI.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I get in my car. That's why I'm mad at you for not telling me that you were doing this pretty tied up thing. Chips Enough is here. I want to give you a little bit of oxygen to talk about writing and the creative process on the road. Just you know, it's hard being an aging radio guy that's a podcaster. The internet calls me, what is it? What does it call me? A creator, digital creator is what I am. I don't know. I used to be a Baltimore sports expert. I'm an interviewer now, media, whatever. I think in the modern world, for all of us who've lived long enough, who aren't McCartney, and who have to go out and work, make a living, got bills to pay, family, whatever, want to go out and do it and want to have an audience to do it for. I'm always fascinated by anyone my age or older because it's not the easiest life, Chip. I mean, you just admitted you never know where the hell you are.
No, you have to find your way, and I commend you for everything that you've done throughout your career, and you're thriving right now. You're doing really well, and they say
Well,
luck
so
is
are
the res.
you, but part of it is evolving. You're not doing what you were doing 40 years ago. No one is, right?
No, they say luck is the resident of design, and you stay out there and you put your best foot forward. And you go out there and play shows. And Rick Nielsen said to me a long time ago over a joint, a cappuccino, he says, "We're not all built to do this in this business, but if you are, go out and do it." And that's what I do every single day. And I'm lucky to be able to say I can go out and work and reach the fans and let them know not only that am I thriving and still alive and decent health, but the shows are still strong. Band's still playing great. It's no guys backstage playing the parts for us. We're singing and playing everything, and that's exciting right there to be able to say that.
You mentioned your buddy doing LED and sets.
Yeah,
You know,
your old buddy Bob Brigham.
Bob, I got to get Bob on. We got to organize this because what I'm amazed by, not just that I'm an old newspaper writer when you met me. You talk about evolution, Chip. I met you. You're down at Harbor Court. I wound up living there. This shot was taken there. 20 years. I lived in the building where you guys ransacked the hotels as you rock star guys were in your limousines back in the day at Hammerjacks. But like all of these years later, the ability to still go out and do it, but how modern it can be. I talked to Jack Hughes from Wang Chung about this a couple weeks ago because their motif, they do about the 30, 40-minute sets. They do 5 to 8 songs as part of 5 or 6 bands. But the video part of what they do and how they blended their videos from the 80s, the timing of it, the music, the even the lights. And I go back to you playing early on in the day at M3 and having that giant design behind you with your logo, the peace signs, moving things, AI things that create this. I don't want to be too Dennis DeYoung and Styx in that era. I'm going to see Styx this week, but theateristic. You know what I mean? Theater like in a way that you would get a canvas and drop it, or your band drum kit would have your logo on it, or in the case of Enuff Z'Nuff, you had art design or Twisted Sister where the things were painted or scarves were hung like Steven Tyler. But now the lighting and the backdrops that can be done and what can be done with video and AI that can bring Broadway to Merriweather Post Pavilion for any band.
No, and I love Eric Baker over at M3. He does a lot of great stuff for Enuff Z'Nuff. He has us on a lot of those festivals, and I appreciate that. The Baltimore fans are absolutely incendiary. They just love rock and roll and heavy metal. Those shows you're talking about now that are happening with all the back screen stuff and the LED lights and the bells and whistles that come with the concert. That all started with Herbie Herbert, the old Journey manager back in the 80s. 79, 80, he put together a company called Nocturne, which is now Nighthawk, Bob Brigham's company, him and Ron Prozel. And those guys, they always knew that we needed to lift these concerts up and elevate them a little bit. It was hard for the people to have the same experience from the 50th row as they would in the first 10 rows.
Well, that was
So
the
they
magic
brought
of
in,
Kiss, right? That I mean, Paul and Gene would
they
say
brought,
that
well,
that they
yeah,
brought the
well,
biggest show, right?
yeah, Kiss always had the aesthetics. They were very, very good about that. They would come out with the makeup and lipstick and the shoes and the jackets, and they had a wonderful disposition when it came to putting on a great rock show. And they were on tour with everybody from Cheap Trick to Mahogany Rush to the Great Rush, and they just, for some reason, people were listening with their eyes instead of their ears. The show was just so
But that light that said
they had to grab
Kiss
on.
and the set itself, I mean, every other rock band was trying to, from Motley Crue and Tommy Spinning and just all of the things that would be theatrical. And Alice Cooper, I don't want to take anything away from any of the people that laid the groundwork, but from a lighting perspective, what Triumph was trying to do, even what Rush would do with spots and with lasers and different things like that, the modern part of seeing any band, country, rock, whatever, in any venue, that backdrop now, seeing Enuff Z'Nuff in a club, it wouldn't look like that. Seeing Enuff Z'Nuff at M3, you were larger than life. You know what I mean? The lighting makes it grand, I think. And I think that that's something that I never saw coming for rock and roll. That's sort of ubiquitous now. I don't ever go to a show where they don't have, it has to be grand. It can't just be what Zeppelin looked like in 76.
No, if you're the Grateful Dead, there's a couple of bands that fall from the wayside where you don't really need that stuff. It's more about the experience of the songs. But any concert you go see right now, that's going to elevate its perception. Those beautiful lights, the LED screens, all the stuff that's behind you, that's really a part of the experience of a concert. And you got to have that stuff. And everybody band has it right now. And there's a reason why, because it just makes everything look that much bigger and better.
Chip, speaking of bigger and better, you been to the Sphere?
No.
Well, you got to go see something there, right?
I will. I'm sure I will. I've been on tour. Last year we did 150 shows, Enuff Z'Nuff tour all around the country. We were opening up for the great Glenn Hughes from Deep Purple. And that was a wonderful run. And we did some stuff with Rose Tattoo. Then we went out with Trickster at the end of the year, and it did so well that now we're going to do a second run here in the United States. And that Trickster, Pretty Boy Floyd, Enuff Z'Nuff package, you come out and see that one, I'll tell you. You want to go see a big concert? You can go spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, no problem. And you get the experience. Or you come out and see a smaller room with bands that aren't, I wouldn't consider us A-roll bands, but we're certainly significant. A lot of hit songs on MTV, radio, a lot of experience on TV. You get a great rock show, and it's free. It's almost free when you come out to those shows. There's no, we're not, the meet and greets aren't prevalent because we just come out and meet the fans. We're accessible. People can get their merchandise if they want to get records or they want to get any kind of merchandise in the band. It's easily accessible. But more importantly, it's a celebration of those songs where the first time you fell in love, the first time you got laid, the first time something significant happened in your life, and it's a great memory to have. And I see a lot of the kids coming out, the Generation X kids coming to these shows because mom and dad turned them on to us. I think that's pretty special right there, bro. I'm very, very lucky to still be out there playing shows every single day. And I appreciate the fans beyond belief, and that's why I make myself accessible.
You always have. I mean, that's just who you are. Chip's Enuff's here. Enuff's enough. Okay, enough with you. You got to go back to getting ready to play. When you come out with Trickster, hit me 2 weeks before the show, not the day after. You know what I mean? Come on, Chip.
No, I will, bro. You know, in the old days, I had excuses. When we were making that first Enuff Z'Nuff album, we were at Royal Recorders in Lake Geneva. I walked into the studio, Skid Row's in there, they're recording. We had to wait until 2 a.m. to start our record. And the first thing we got was a big ounce of cocaine and a bunch of Jack Daniels booze and tons of Cheech and Chong. And so I had an excuse to say, sorry, I didn't get a hold of you then because I was preoccupied. But now we're all good. We're nice and clean. We're traveling around the country. I promise I'll keep in touch with you. I'll let your people know the new Enuff Z'Nuff is out right now. It's called Extra Cherries, featuring collaborations with Journey, Cheap Trick, Steve Stevens, the Nelsons, Trickster, and of course, the great Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses on one song as well. So, and then if you want, come out and see the band. Look at prettytiedup.com as well, and you'll see all those dates that we have in 2025 and 2026 coming up.
I,
Nestor, always a pleasure talking to you, bro.
I had a great memory with you and the Nelson boys on stage at Merriweather on the Milk and Cookies tour, doing Surrender as two bands in the encore set. That was a great rock and roll
I
moment
remember
for
that
me.
very first show we played with those cats. They came, pulled me aside, says, Chip, you can't be getting our crew high. It's a no-no on this tour. Please, uh, stop your band and yourself from enabling our crew. We said, yeah, no problem. We'll be good to you guys. And then by the end of the week, I realized why they were mad. It wasn't because we were smoking pot with their crew. It was because they had a cell phone. This is 1991. They had a cell phone, and their bill in 1 week was $20,000. 1 week on that little big, is like a big cell phone they carry around backstage with them everywhere they go. And then, of course, we had Andre, who was running Kiss for the longest time as their TM, and he showed me some stuff that I couldn't even talk about behind closed doors that was happening with that band. Those guys were real rock and rollers that knew exactly how to party and bring a show. And we were following around Guns N' Roses and Skid Row during that whole tour as well, playing sheds and arenas. They had After the Rain on MTV, and we had Fly on Michelle and New Thing. That was a good time in life until the Seattle scene came in there, and those great bands like Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden came in and whipped everybody's asses. But guess what? We're back in. It didn't kill us. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, bro.
Well, the Nelsons, the Enuff Z'Nuff, the Cheap Tricks, the Tricksters, everybody that's still going. Hats off to all of you. My hair is out to honor all of you. And when you come and play, you're playing Fly High Michelle, you're playing New Thing, you're playing Baby Loves You. I want to come see it. Okay, so we'll get together
Beautiful.
sometime soon. All right, brother.
Thank you, Nestor. Hey, Nestor, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule. And I wish everybody listening and watching this 100 years of good life and good health. God bless you all.
And keep rock and roll alive for all of us who love it. And
Oh,
listen, Chip, the sports thing, there's winners and losers. And when the Orioles are in last place, it's disappointing every minute of every day. Rock and roll, not only, as Bob Seger would say, would never forget, it never lets you down. Rock and roll doesn't let you down. So that's what I love about it.
absolutely. Who cares who drives the bus? Let's get to the picnic, okay? I want to get laid. I want to get paid, smoking top of the grade. Yeah, I'm feeling heavy metal. God bless you, bro.
Man, I got to try. Still creating trouble. 5 decades later, no one is a better troublemaker than Chip Z'Nuff. We're back for more
Guilty
Baltimore
as
Positive.
charged.
Never convicted.